Blah.
I was a Misfits merchandiser for a while too. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did not know that.
I've actually merchandised for the Jerry side and Glenn also, so I'm very familiar with all those guys.
That's fascinating too, because there was a period of time where Jerry couldn't put Glenn on anything and Glenn couldn't put Jerry on anything. So you'd get classic designs. That was you.
Yeah.
So you're doing the Halloween. You did that.
Yeah. It was on an orange Ringer t-shirt.
Yep. I remember it.
Glenn was like, just make these adjustments and black him out. And, it was pretty funny, but yeah, I mean, that's, I wanted to do a Walk Among Us t-shirt. And, at the time I was working with Jerry, and Glenn's stuff was done through a company called Blue Grape, and they couldn't use Jerry for any of their stuff. So like we were going to trade, we were going to do a Walk Among Us shirt, and they were going to do a Beware shirt. So it was like going to be an
they
even
agreed.
trade.
So they agreed.
Yeah. So it was like an early phase of them like actually like communicating somewhat.
Was this pre 2001?
Oh yeah, this is like
wow.
Yeah,
no, it'd have to be after.
It was after. I want to say it was like 2000. No, you're right. It was 99 or 2000.
Okay, that's
because I was on the Samhain. Samhain tour at the time. I was merching for Jerry. I was on the Samhain tour. So
wow,
yeah, it was pretty funny.
That is okay. So what's so interesting about that is because I always suspect that those two started talking because they almost reunited in 2002. Yeah, I suspect that when Caroline was going to put out 12 Hits from Hell, that those two like actually like spoke for the first time, and on some level where they unanimously were like shutting that shit down. They're like, we do not want this to come out. Yeah. And I think that started the talks. That had to have started the talks.
Well, I know that Doyle was kind of the intermediary. Doyle had showed up to Glenn's house and left the big 12-inch coffin figured dolls on his porch. And
did he really?
Yeah, and he left him with a bunch of Kit Kats because Glenn's favorite candy is Kit Kat. So Doyle left this stuff on Glenn's porch with a note like, "Hey, give us a call," kind of thing. And I think somebody saw Glenn like throwing those in the trash next to
get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
This was in L.A. This was in LA. This was at the Bricks house.
Yeah, the Bricks house.
Wow.
That's where yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Some of it's probably folklore, but it wouldn't surprise me if Glenn was throwing those things out and ate the Kit Kats. Like
I just love that is. Yeah, but here's the thing: like they did start. They were like a united front against Caroline, against that release. You know what I'm saying? Like that had to have like been some sort of solvent or glue that had. Hey, let's start. Are we going to do this? Or like Graves is out of the picture. Chud is out of the picture. Like Jerry's like, Doyle is out of the picture, or soon to be out of the picture. Yeah. Dez is in the band now. And it's kind of like, what are we going to do here? Where are the Misfits going at this point? We need to get Glenn back, So I just imagine that had to have something.
They tried to do, it was an Ozfest. It was an Ozfest where they were going to play. The Misfits were going to reunite at one point. It was all just talk. I don't know what was real, but I hear stuff from Jerry's camp, and then I hear stuff from Glenn, and Glenn shooting everything down, but crazy. I know for a fact that there were communications back and forth. And what really brought them together was that Hot Topic lawsuit. I don't know if you know the details.
Well, yeah. But that was year. I mean, that's the modern reunion. Yeah. But here's my question to you. Okay. One last question about this, and we'll move on. I don't want to, listen, you guys have been so generous with your time. I don't know if we need to be landing the airplane soon. I'm having such a great time. So here, let me ask you this. What about the stipulations? Did you know any? Was that true? Really true that he's like, you can't tour for a year. We're not using Robo. Robo's out. You can't use Robo, right?
Accurate. Yeah, I don't know.
And Jerry was like, "Fuck you. I'm not. I refuse." Well, and
from what I understand is that Glenn wanted Steve to play drums because Steve was kind of on some Misfits recordings, and
rightfully so. Steve would be a perfect.
And then Jerry wanted Eric Arce, who is Chupacabra or whatever they call him.
The goat. But that's later. You're talking about this is later. I'm talking about in 2002.
Oh, 2002. I don't remember, but I know that Jerry did try to get Dave Vanian at one point.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So they were like
Yes.
the ads they already had the ads that said we got a damned good new singer, and all this stuff. Yeah. So anyway,
and you know what's funny? The Dave Vanian and Captain Seswell, those guys have never been. It's either maybe it's stricken from like the interview record, like don't ask us about these guys. It just amazes me that how many interviews the Damned have done, and they've never been asked about the Misfits, or no one's ever been like, so Jerry wanted to get you as the lead singer. There's only one time Nerdwar was the only guy who's like the perfect guy, right?
Yeah,
Jason,
yeah.
He's like the guy who
Yeah.
Well,
right.
Funny story. Dave Vanian, Lee Ving, and myself rode the train in 2019 from Rebellion Festival to Manchester. And that train ride is about a 3-hour train ride. So I interrogated Dave Vanian about all this stuff. And apparently when he was going to agree to do the Misfits thing, but they had a stipulation that he had to work out and be muscular and just all these crazy stipulations for Vanian to join the band. And so he was like, fuck you guys, I'm not going to do it.
He was going to do it.
He was signed up and ready to go, and then
Get
they were
the
just like,
fuck out of here.
no cheeseburgers for Dave.
Get ripped.
Yeah, get whipped.
I love this band so much. I love them.
No,
I love them.
And anyway, Dave secretly goes to me, I fucking hate the Misfits.
but then they ended up doing the Fiend Fest later.
Yeah, no, they have a good relationship. And, he was just Dave Vanian, but he was like, I fucking hate those guys.
Right. Because it's like, come on, just cut me a break. And that makes sense too, because the Damned were at a super like inactive point at that point. He's doing Dave and the Phantom Chords.
Yep.
And Jerry comes a knocking.
Yep.
And it's like, why not take on, and that, my God, would that have been interesting?